From oceans and volcanoes to skies beyond the clouds, the Hoenn region is home to some of the most extreme life forms ever discovered. In the rainforest, Trico moves with effortless precision, perfectly adapted to life among the trees. Grovyle pauses within the undergrowth, its body shaped by speed, balance, and survival. At the forest's edge, Skeptile stands watchful, a silent master of its territory. Torchic rests on warm ground, its feathers trapping heat in a land shaped by fire. Combusken remains alert, forged by heat and movement in this volatile landscape. Blaziken stands unmoving, its strength concealed beneath layers of feather and flame. Near the water's edge, Mudkip thrives where land and river meet. Marshtomp presses into the wet ground, its body built for power and endurance. Swampert emerges with immense weight, a force shaped by water and earth. From the grass, Poochyena watches patiently, guided by instinct and hunger. Mightyena surveys the open land, alert to every movement across the plains. Zigzagoon searches the forest floor, guided by instinct and endless curiosity. Linnuoon pauses briefly, its body built for speed and precision through the undergrowth. Wurmple clings to the branch, beginning a slow transformation unseen by most. Encased within its shell, Silcoon waits patiently for the next stage of life. Beautifully rests among flowers, its wings shaped for balance and grace. Hidden among branches, Cascoon remains still, protected by its hardened form. Dustox settles against the tree, conserving energy as night approaches. Lotad drifts quietly across the water, perfectly adapted to its floating world. Lombre stands in the shallows, at ease where land and water meet. In shallow jungle waters, Ludicolo thrives, its body shaped by warmth, moisture, and movement. High among the branches, Cedo blends seamlessly into the forest canopy. Nooseleaf moves cautiously through the undergrowth, part plant, part wanderer. Beneath towering trees, Shiftry stands still, guided by the shifting forest winds. Tylo balances lightly, ever alert to changes in the air. On exposed cliffs, Swellow rests between powerful flights. Along the shoreline, Wingle drifts calmly over wind and water. Pelipper glides effortlessly, its wings shaped for long journeys above the sea. Hidden within tall grass, Ralts remains still, sensing the world around it. In quiet clearings, Curlier moves with gentle, deliberate grace. In a quiet clearing, Gardevoir remains still, its presence calm and attentive. On the surface of the water, Surskit moves with delicate precision. Masquerain hovers briefly, its wings shaped by light and air. Shroomish rests on the forest floor, thriving in damp and shadow. Breloom stands ready, its body built for balance and restraint. Slackoth clings quietly, conserving energy in near stillness. Vigoroth remains alert, tension visible beneath its fur. Slaking rests heavily, its slow breathing marking the passage of time. Hidden against the bark, Nincada waits, unseen and patient. Ninjask pauses briefly, before vanishing into the air. Shedinja remains almost motionless, its hollow form shaped by a silent transformation. Whismur stays close to the ground, sensitive to every vibration in the air. Loudred stands firm, its body built to channel powerful resonance. Exploud breathes deeply, its massive frame dominating the open valley. Makuhita holds its stance, strength formed through patience and repetition. Hariyama remains grounded, its weight and balance finely controlled. Azurill rests by the water, buoyed by a body shaped for gentle movement. Nosepass stands unmoved, as solid and enduring as the stone beneath it. Skitty sits quietly, alert yet untroubled by its surroundings. Delcatty settles into stillness, conserving energy in the calm of the clearing. Deep underground, Sableye moves through darkness, drawn to the minerals hidden in stone. At the edge of the cavern, Mawile waits, its unusual anatomy shaped by survival. Among the rocks, Aran feeds steadily, its armored body built for harsh terrain. Within the mountain tunnels, Lyron advances slowly, reinforced by layers of steel. High on the ridge, Agron stands firm, a silent guardian of its domain. On isolated peaks, Meditite remains still, balancing body and breath. Medicum holds its form with precision, movement guided by control rather than force. Across open plains, Electrike senses the charge building in the air. Manectric faces the storm, its body tuned to wind and lightning. In quiet grasslands, Plusle stays close to the ground, alert to subtle changes nearby. Minun remains close to the ground, responding to subtle changes in its surroundings. As night falls, Volbeat illuminates the forest, signaling quietly in the darkness. Illumise moves among the trees, its soft glow guiding others through the night. In open meadows, Roselia thrives, its form shaped by light and pollinators. Gulpin endures in harsh conditions, absorbing what other life cannot. Swalot settles heavily into the marsh, its body adapted to a toxic environment. In fast-moving water, Carvanha waits patiently, conserving energy between movements. Sharpedo glides through coastal waters, built for sudden bursts of speed. Wailmer floats at the surface, its massive body supported by buoyancy and breath. Deep below, Wailord moves slowly, its immense scale dwarfing the surrounding ocean. In volcanic plains, Numel endures the heat, its body shaped for harsh ground. Camerupt stands among lava fields, heat rising steadily from its back. Torkoal rests on warm stone, releasing slow bursts of steam from its shell. Spoink maintains balance through constant motion, never allowing itself to rest. Grumpig remains still, its focus turned inward as it senses its surroundings. Spinder moves unevenly across the plain, its rhythm unpredictable, yet controlled. Hidden beneath desert sand, Trapinch waits patiently for passing movement. Clinging to canyon walls, Vibrava vibrates faintly against the rock. Flygon stands against the desert wind, adapted to endless open terrain. Cacnea endures the sun, storing what little moisture the desert provides. In the open desert, Cacturn stands still, adapted to long days of heat and silence. High above the plains, Swablu perches lightly, carried by gentle mountain air. Near the clouds, Altaria drifts slowly, its presence blending with the sky. In dry grasslands, Zangoose remains alert, watching for movement across the terrain. Within the wetlands, Seviper holds its position, relying on patience rather than motion. As night falls, Lunatone hovers quietly, shaped by forces beyond the ground below. Under intense sunlight, Solrock absorbs heat, suspended above the desert floor. Along muddy riverbeds, Barboach settles close to the bottom, guided by subtle currents. In slow-moving waters, Whiscash remains steady, anchored by its broad frame. Among freshwater streams, Corfish holds firm, its powerful claws defining its form. In murky waters, Crawdant holds its ground, shaped by conflict and survival. Within ancient ruins, Boltoy remains still, its form unchanged by time. Claydol hovers silently, a structure built for balance rather than motion. Anchored to stone, Lileep waits as currents pass above. Along the shallow coast, Cradley sways gently, rooted between land and sea. On fossil-strewn rock, Anorith settles into position, its form preserved through ages. Armaldo stands firm against the surf, armor weathered by ancient tides. In polluted waters, Phoebus endures, unchanged by conditions that drive others away. Beneath calm waters, melodic rests, its presence defined by stillness. Across open fields, karst form drifts lightly, shaped by shifting skies. Against the bark of the forest trees, Kecleon remains still, blending quietly into its surroundings. In abandoned places, Shuppet drifts low, drawn to the lingering echoes of emotion. Among crumbling ruins, Bonnet stands motionless, its form shaped by long neglect. Across open ground, Duskull hovers silently, watching through a single unblinking eye. Within ancient chambers, Dusclops remains upright, absorbing the stillness around it. In tropical forests, Tropius stands beneath the canopy, sustained by sun and foliage. High in the mountains, Chimecho floats gently, carried by shifting currents of air. On mist-covered slopes, Absol pauses, sensing changes long before they arrive. At the edge of shelter and open land, Winort faces forward, quietly observing its surroundings. In frozen landscapes, Snorant remains still, protected by cold and silence. In the frozen north, Glalie endures extreme cold, its form shaped by ice and wind. Along icy shores, Spheel rests quietly, conserving energy in harsh conditions. On frozen coasts, Celio remains still, adapted to life between land and sea. At the edge of the polar ocean, Walrein holds its position, massive and unmoving. In the depths, Clample lies closed and silent, protected by its hardened shell. Within the darkness of the deep sea, Huntail remains motionless, suspended in shadow. Far below the surface, Gorbis drifts calmly, untouched by the world above. Near the ocean floor, Relicanth persists, unchanged for countless generations. In warm, shallow waters, Luvdisk holds its shape, gently surrounded by light. High on rocky cliffs, Bagan stands firm, gazing toward the open sky. Deep within rocky shelters, Shelgon remains sealed inside its hardened shell, conserving energy for what lies ahead. On high mountain plateaus, Salamence stands grounded, its powerful form built for the open skies. Across barren highlands, Beldam hovers silently, guided by forces unseen. In open plains, Matang remains suspended, its metallic body perfectly balanced. Upon rocky plateaus, Metagross stands firm, its presence heavy and unmoving. Among ancient ruins, Regirock endures, its body shaped entirely from stone. Within glacial chambers, Regis reflects the cold, untouched by the passage of time. Deep underground, Registeel remains still, its form forged beyond natural limits. Along coastal cliffs, Latias pauses quietly, watching the world below. High above mountain ridges, Latios stands alert, adapted to vast open distances. In the deepest oceans, Kyogre exists as a living force, shaping the waters around it through sheer presence. Across volcanic land, Groudon stands unmoving, its body forged by heat and pressure over time. High above the clouds, Rayquaza remains suspended, watching the world from the edge of the atmosphere. In remote and silent places, Jirachi appears rarely, drifting gently beneath the stars. Far from Earth, Deoxys stands alone, an unfamiliar life form shaped beyond natural evolution. Across oceans, land, and sky, the Hoenn region reveals a world shaped by extremes. Here, ancient forces endure, untouched by time, waiting to be observed.